Coming up on today's Dallas Cowboys report, we've got plenty to break down, from the latest buzz around a possible George Pickens extension to key Cowboys injury updates, including when Demarian Overshon is expected to return. We'll also touch on Trayvon Diggs, Cooper Beebe, and some recent practice squad moves shaking things up in Dallas. But before we dive deeper, the Cowboys are set to face off against the Denver Broncos this week, and you already know what that means. It's not just a game, it's pride on the line. Cowboys Nation, we're going up against Broncos fans in a like battle, and we're this close to doubling their numbers. So if you're riding with the star, hit that like button and show them who runs this matchup. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. And of course, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, back to business. Reports from ESPN's Beebe say Logan Wilson, a team captain for the Cincinnati Bengals, has officially requested a trade. Once a cornerstone of that defense, Wilson's now been overtaken by younger linebackers on the depth chart. That could open the door for Dallas. If the Cowboys want to bolster their linebacker core, Wilson makes a lot of sense. He's still strong in coverage and brings valuable leadership. Sure, there's a bit of a price tag, roughly $2.5 million for the rest of the season, but that's manageable, especially since he's under contract next year for $6.5 million. The Bengals might believe he's slowing down, but I'm not buying that just yet. Wilson's been dependable, smart, and physical, exactly the kind of player who could thrive in Dallas under Dan Quinn's system. The cost? Likely a late day 3 pick, which could be a bargain if he returns to form. At the end of the day, this feels like the type of low-risk, high-reward move that championship-caliber teams make. The Cowboys need depth, and Logan Wilson might just be the guy who brings that extra spark to this defense. So what do you think, Cowboys Nation? Should Dallas go after Logan Wilson? Drop your take in the comments, type for yes or B for no, and let's see where the fans stand. Now, let's shift gears to another big headline, the George Pickens extension talk. According to ESPN's Dan Graziano, the Cowboys have already started internal discussions about locking up George Pickens long-term. The front office has been studying how other teams, like the Bengals, Dolphins, and Eagles, manage their cap while paying multiple top-tier wideouts. It's still early, and nothing's expected to happen until after the season, but make no mistake, Dallas wants to keep Dak Prescott's wide receiver duo together. When the Cowboys traded for Pickens this offseason, they knew what they were getting, an explosive playmaker who could grow into a true WR1. So it's no surprise they're already exploring how to make it work financially. And honestly, it's not as complicated as it sounds. The Cowboys have plenty of ways to create cap space. A simple Dak Prescott restructure could free up around $30.9 million. A tweak to CeeDee Lamb's deal saves another $19 million. Osa Odigizua, Tyler Smith, Darren Bland, and Jake Ferguson, all have contract structures that can open up more room if adjusted. Even tough decisions like parting ways with Terrence Steele or Malik Hooker could free significant money. Add it all up, and Dallas could easily generate well over $125 million in cap space. That's more than enough to extend George Pickens and strengthen other key areas of the roster, as long as they continue to draft smart and develop their young talent. The bottom line? It's absolutely possible to keep Pickens in Dallas without sacrificing the team's future. You can pay your stars and still build a deeper, stronger roster around them. So tell me, should the Cowboys commit long-term to George Pickens? Type Y for yes or N for no in the comments. Let's hear what Cowboys Nation thinks about keeping one of Dak's most dynamic weapons in the Lone Star State. Let's be real. If George Pickens keeps performing the way he has, there's absolutely no reason the Cowboys shouldn't lock him up. At the very least, he deserves the franchise tag this offseason. But honestly, the smart move would be to get a long-term deal done and keep him in Dallas for the future. Yes, it's going to be pricey, but that's a good problem to have. You don't complain about paying elite players. You celebrate it. Because when you've got a receiver like Pickens, a player who's proven he can be a difference maker every week, you don't let him walk. You make it work. Period. This will be the first big payday of Pickens' career, and you can bet his camp isn't going to settle for a discount. Right now, he's already outplaying projections of $30 million per year, and that number could easily climb higher. Still, that's the cost of keeping greatness, and it's a price worth paying. So, Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office, the message is simple: get it done early. Don't drag it out. Handle business before the NFL Combine or the start of the new league year. The earlier you finalize it, the more flexibility you'll have to strengthen the rest of this roster and chase that Super Bowl window while it's wide open. And speaking of roster updates, let's talk injuries. Cooper Beebe is still working his way back from that ankle injury, but the good news is, he's not ruling out a return this week. That's a promising sign for a Cowboys offensive line that's been battling through some tough stretches. The Cowboys are pushing hard to get Cooper Beebe back on the field this week, and if that happens, they'll need to make a roster move to open a spot on the 53-man roster. That could mean placing someone like Trevor Keegan or Johnny Cornelius on injured reserve. After Wednesday's practice, Beebe said, "I'm feeling pretty good. Just working through a few aches and getting back into rhythm. Realistically, I'll know more after Thursday. If it's not this week, it'll definitely be next." And honestly, his return would be a huge boost for this offensive line. Not that Brock Hoffman has struggled, he's been solid and dependable, but Beebe simply brings more power, versatility, and polish to the position. He's built to be a long-term starter, while Hoffman is that perfect next man up, the steady, reliable backup every great team needs. Getting Beebe back could make a real difference up front, especially as Dallas faces tougher defensive fronts heading into mid-season. Now let's turn to a player every Cowboys fan can't wait to see again, DeMarvion Overshon. The young linebacker has been hyping up his own comeback, and you can feel the energy in every word. His target return date? Monday Night Football against the Las Vegas Raiders. Overshown said, "That's been the plan, and when I'm back, it's going to be nothing short of extraordinary. I'm ready to show how blessed I am." How can you not love that mindset? Overshown plays with heart, intensity, and the kind of passion that reminds fans of Sean Lee in his prime. His instincts are sharp, his athleticism is elite, and his presence around the football is undeniable. Of course, patience is key. Coming off a major knee injury is never easy. But Overshown isn't backing down. "A lot of people say this is one of the toughest injuries to come back from," he said. "I'm ready to prove them wrong. I'm stronger, faster, I jump higher, I'm more explosive, you name it." That's the kind of fire you want in your locker room. You can feel that leadership, that hunger to get back and make an impact. And when Overshown finally steps back on the field, don't be surprised if he instantly brings that spark back to the Cowboys' defense. When DeMarvion Overshon finally returns, expect the Cowboys to ease him back into action, similar to how they handled Cavonte Turpin and Darren Bland earlier in the year. He probably won't play a full snap count right away, maybe around 50%, but that could still be enough to make a real impact. And what better time for a comeback than against the Las Vegas Raiders? That defense is vulnerable, and Overshown has the kind of explosiveness to make highlight reel plays right out of the gate. So, Cowboys Nation, what's your excitement level for Overshown's return? Drop it in the comments below, from 1 to 10, and let's see who's ready to see number 0 back on the field. On the other side, things aren't looking as optimistic for Trayvon Diggs. He remains in concussion protocol, and his chances of returning in Week 8 are slim. Typically, recovery timelines for head injuries run around 10 days, and Diggs hasn't yet hit that mark. So it's likely the Cowboys play it safe and hold him out until he's fully cleared. Now, for some good news, Zion Childress is officially back in Dallas. After being waived by the Houston Texans, he cleared waivers and rejoined the Cowboys practice squad. It's a bit of a full-circle moment, considering how fans were frustrated when players like Isaiah Land, Julius Wood, and Childress himself were lost on waiver claims earlier in the year. Well, the Cowboys got all three back. Land, Childress, and Wood are now part of the Dallas practice squad once again, a sign that this front office is keeping its depth and developmental talent right where it belongs. For a team that's looking to make a serious postseason push, having familiar, system-ready players like these back in the mix could prove valuable down the stretch.